Good afternoon, and welcome to It's All About the Music. I'm your host, Trish. I have a lot of great jazz. Well, yeah, jazz. Do you guys like jazz? I hope so. And if you're curious about jazz or want to know more artists in jazz, well, you've come to the right place, my friends. So here we go. First up, we have Ella and Friends. Are you guys taking notes? Well, pull out your papers and pens, because you will be giving a lot of great names and a lot of great artists to check out. Next up, Arturo Sandoval, Swingin'. Many of these CDs and these like plastic things are from my friend Duke. So Duke, if you're watching, kudos to you. Next up, Chet Baker. Next up, Astrid Gilberto. I hope I'm saying that right. Astrid. I believe he's from Brazil, if I'm correct. Google it, baby. Google it. Oh my goodness. All right, next up we have a great jazz compilation. The JVC Jazz Festival of 2005. A lot of these I featured in previous episodes, but for my new subscribers and viewers, this one's for you. Sit back. I hope you have your cup of tea, coffee, soda, whatever it is. Next up, Duke, a legend. You've got to know this man's name if you're into jazz. And if you don't have this CD or album, I highly recommend you to put this man in your notes and make a note to hop down to your record store when time permits and check out some of this gentleman's music. He's a legend. Having a jazz collection without Duke Ellington is like having a rock and roll collection without the Beatles, okay? Another great of jazz, Miles Davis. Oh, hold on. Ba-doo-doo, ba-ba. A lot of these, like the CDs in these thin plastic sleeves, are from my friend Duke. So Duke, if you're watching, thank you. I love you, buddy. Next up is Charlie Parker. All right. I'm trying to go fast because I have a lot of CDs here and it's going to be a long episode. So I hope you have your beverage of choice. And this hour of the day it should be, it's about what, 1:30? It should be coffee or tea. A little too early for anything else. Next up is a legend of jazz, John Coltrane. All right, next up, this doesn't have the track listing, but this is a Pat Metheny group, Imaginary Day. Whoa, 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 whoa. Pat Metheny group, that's a band you should definitely check out. Yeah, I know, I want to have music in the background, but I don't want to get copyright strike. Yeah, okay. Next up is a jazz compilation I got in my antique mall late this summer. As a matter of this past summer. No, last summer was it? Oh, it was a recent acquisition. Yes. Summer Groove. I don't know if this radio station is around anymore, 101.9. I think it is, but I think they're playing, I think they went to country or something crazy. But that was a great jazz station. You know how some of these these stations these days is they're always switching up their format. Sadly, 101.9 did that. Next up is a Putumayo Putumayo presents jazz. And you guys know how I feel about the Putumayo series. Next up, for the love of Ella Fitzgerald, great lady of jazz. When I saw this, I believe I got this in the antique mall. When I saw this, I said, oh yeah, I'm picking it out. Oh yeah, Ella, you're coming home with me. Next up is a longtime legend of longtime artist in the jazz world, Herbie Hancock, and he's still with us. I think he's still with us. I like his, I'm not big on covers, but I do like his rendition of Watermelon Man. Although Mongo Santa Maria is the master of that song, in my opinion. Next up, more Miles Davis. Sadly, we lost him to cancer. Next up, another great in the jazz world, Oscar Peterson. Don't know if you'll be able to read that track list because the font's kind of small, but kids are the best shots, Next up, we have the great Satchmo, Louis Armstrong. Next up, this is a antique, no, did I give this an antique wall or did someone give this to me? I think someone VCLT'd this to me. Morning Cup of Jazz. Because if I got an antique wall, it would be a sticker smack dab in the middle of the front cover. I kid you not, guys. I love the antique wall, but sometimes its sticker placing is not the best. Next up, I don't know if some of you know this story, but about a year or two ago, I was on a bike ride, and neighbors of my friends, George and Beth, I guess they were just packing up from a yard sale they had, and they went to this box of CDs. And I picked out a few, and I knocked on the woman's door and said, "Excuse me, how much are these CDs?" They said, "They're yours if you want them." I'm like, "Really? Thank you." And I kept saying, "You sure you don't want anything?" No, they're yours. I guess they were moving and they were, But they got rid of some great jazz. Next up, we have the Musicland GRP, Musicland and GRP, Musicland and GRP present the Jazz Sampler. I don't know why I'm not pronouncing, my words right today. Maybe just I don't know. It just seems like I can't talk today. I don't know why. Maybe I haven't had enough caffeine. Next up, the Windham Hill Records sampler from 1994. Some great artists on here. Next up, more cool jazz. Spyro Gyra. Yeah, the sticker's still on there, right? Next up, the Pat Metheny group. Oh, the track list is on here. Okay, cool. I may have to start another pile because this pile's getting mighty high. And I know if I bump it, it's going to go flying, and I'm going to have to do this episode all over again, which I don't want to do because things are going pretty well. All right, don't fall. Next up is the history of jazz. I have a 4 CD box set of this somewhere, floating around somewhere around here. I'll have to find it, but I think this is the best of that selection. I don't know if this is the same one from Ken Burns. I think it's a different series altogether. Different CD altogether. Next up, another jazz great, in my opinion, Herb Alpert. Some people make fun of him, but if you really listen to him, it's great stuff. Next up, this gentleman really educated me on jazz with his show in the late 90s and 2000s on 101.9. He hosted a great jazz series called Legends of Jazz, and that gentleman would be Ramsey Lewis. All right, I gotta start a new pile here, guys. This tile's getting mighty, mighty tall, but we only have a few more to go. So, next up, Ramsey Lewis turned me on to this gentleman's music, and then like. Soon after that, I went to the local music shops and found his music. And that would be David Sanborn. Whoops. Oh, okay, let's start a new pile. Yeah, all right. There we go. Now, this is a great duo in jazz. Can you guess what it is? Two men who, they came together and made some great music together. It's like the dream duo of jazz. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Louis Armstrong and Duke Ellington. Now, if you see this in your record store, I highly recommend you pick it up. Like, oh my goodness. Next up, John Coltrane. All right. Next up is another great of jazz, one of the greatest jazz drummers around. Can you guess what it is? Did I hear someone say Buddy Rich? I think I did. If you said Buddy Rich, you get an A for the day. Yes, you do. Another good jazz compilation Duke gave me is a tribute to various artists doing a tribute to Vince Guaraldi. Happy birthday, happy anniversary, Charlie Brown. Whoops, come on, baby.